Angela Yee was the glue of the OG Breakfast Club group. So when you lose the glue, when you lose the girl with no bias, when you lose the girl who does the research, when you lose the girl who has the smoothest commentary, when you lose the girl who has the best interview skills for your special guests to your performances,
special guests to y'all performances,
it shows. YouTube, what's up, baby? It's your favorite Aqua Black boy, your favorite antisocial extrovert, Blake Mother Loving Dupree. Welcome to the Diary of Dupree YouTube channel. If you're new to my channel, what's up? Get comfortable, subscribe, like, comment, do all that shit. If you're not new to my channel, bitch, you bad. And I mean that. And I felt that. I hope you felt it too, because thank you for supporting me. You know, in a world where there's wars and rumors of wars, I find it astonishing that I even get more than 10 views on my videos, because there are so many other places you can go for your information to get a break from reality. And I'm so glad that y'all be choosing low on me, Blake Dupree. I appreciate you. I really do. Smooches. But we're not here to really talk about me. We're not here to, harp on my success and, my professionalism. We're here to talk about the lack thereof at the Breakfast Club. Let's get into it. I'm sure all of you know about the whole Lauren LaRosa versus Jess Celeste situation. And I just want to say, this is a blatant example of preparedness versus popularity, or popularity versus preparedness. Jess being the popular one in the scenario, Lauren being the prepared, produced person in this situation. It reminds me of high school in a way, and it's ironic that I'm agreeing with Just Hilarious, because I never thought I would, but this is definitely a high school based scenario. Now, Lauren is the girl who was always on her P's and Q's, AP honor studies, cool girl, but not really that known. She just needed the opportunity to gain the clout that she has. Jess always had the clout. She was always one of the guys. She always hang with the guys. She was always protecting the guys. She was always that one girl who was popular as hell that always hung around the guys, like the tomboy of the group, right? Then we got Charlamagne and Envy, the two clowns who I think they're 10 times funnier than they actually are. But they still cool with the overall GP. They don't really mess with nobody. They be gay baiting and saying queer jokes, and the shit ain't funny. And I honestly think that, to be anything above the age of 18 and making gay jokes and queer-based jokes and thinking shit is funny when you're a straight man, not really my bob. I'd be kind of embarrassed if my dad did that at his job, especially if his job was viewed by millions on a daily basis. Neither here nor there. But this is definitely a high school scenario. I just gave them all those typical high school roles, and they kind of fulfill those roles on their jobs and get paid to do it. So maybe I'm doing something wrong by acting like a bitch who's been to college. Whole different conversation, right? So Jess steps away from the big project. That big project being the Breakfast Club. We all know what it is. Breakfast Club is like one of the meccas of black media today, whether it's in radio, YouTube. If it makes it from the radio, it makes it to the YouTube, makes it to all the other social platforms, and we talking about it now. Jess steps away from that project because she has had a child. She brings in Lauren to take her place, only while she's on maternity leave. Now, if we remember, Jess was working well into her final trimester. Like, the girl was plump, plump, pretty. She's not ugly. I just hate the ugly shit that she says. I'm not a fan of her. Let me say this now. However, I would defend anyone in her situation. Your job should not be jeopardized because you get pregnant. I don't care what industry it is. I don't care what lane you have chosen to take in your career. Your job should not be jeopardized because you have gotten pregnant. DJ Envy was just up in a fraud case last year. I don't think his job was jeopardized. The show stopped going. The boat started rocking. He still was smooth sailing. He didn't get replaced at all to handle his situation. I don't even know if they talked about it. I believe they did briefly, but it was not as a big of a deal as this whole Jess versus Lauren situation. So yes, this is a case of misogyny in the workplace, because I do believe if Jess never got pregnant, we wouldn't be talking about this. There would be no replacement. And let's call a spade a spade. We all know what's up. Angela Yee was the glue of the OG Breakfast Club group. So when you lose the glue, when you lose the girl with no bias, when you lose the girl who does the research, when you lose the girl who has the smoothest commentary, when you lose the girl who has the best interview skills for your special guests to your performances, it shows. And it took a while to fill that void. And honestly, y'all, we all know Jess was not filling that void. She was one of the guys as well. Angela Yee was one of the girls who did her job and did it the best out of the three of them. So Jess comes in, and Jess was cool, but let's be honest, Before Lauren was even brought in the picture, people really weren't checking for Jess. Period. They were content with Jess overall, but we all knew she wasn't going to be a permanent fix to the void that was Angela Yee. And Angela Yee was great at her job. You know, to be on the Breakfast Club, you have to kind of dumb down your sisters to a bit to appeal to the GP. And as I've said before, the Breakfast Club is a safe space for homophobia and queerphobia and transphobia. And Jess has exemplified all three scenarios in her personal life. So it makes sense that they picked her, but it felt like I was watching three dudes on commentary sometimes. And I'm not trying to be transphobic. I'm not trying to say that she was masculine, but her viewpoints were of a traditional male perspective. And I was like, okay, I kind of miss Angela on this. So when Lauren was brought in, it was kind of like, finally, they got something right. Lauren comes in. I love her voice. She's a pretty girl. She is respectful. She is professional. She does the research. She's almost better than the OG Angela Yee. She just was. She was the prepared person for the job. And it makes sense because she was a producer on the show before she was brought on camera to the show. I don't think when Jess apparently chose her to be her replacement, I don't think I don't think that Jess thought that her popularity would be oversynced by Lauren LaRosa's preparedness to do the job. And this is a case where preparedness beats popularity. And I know we live in a world full of baddies and IG influencers and social media commentators and people who do it for the clout and do it for the fame and do it for popularity. And I'm not faulting those people because as we see, these type of behaviors do bring you some sorts of income more times than often in recent decades. So I get it. Do what you have to do what you feel like you need to do. But in some instances, you can't be talent. You're not going to be production. You're not going to be preparedness. You're not going to be training. You're not going to be education. Those differences are going to show under certain circumstances. And this is one of the few circumstances in mainstream media in today's society where the talent, the production, the education, the preparedness is beating the popularity. This is a very rare case of preparedness whooping popularity's ass. And it is very refreshing to see. Now, it is not refreshing to see two black women be pitted against each other due to a misogynistic system. Because, like I said, if Jess was to get pregnant and her job truly supported her and said, like, hey, girl, as soon as you come back, we're going to give Lauren her own platform, but you'll be back with Jess with the mess and your news to be real on the Breakfast Club, we be smooth sailing. You know what I'm saying? If the producers weren't messy, because I think this is a whole producer issue as well. It's bigger than the on-air talent having feuds. The producers, y'all run this shit. Y'all should have had these conversations in private and made sure they remained in private. I'm like, do they not sign NDAs on the Breakfast Club as on-air talent? I guess not. Now, from a actor and entertainer standpoint, if I was Jess and I'm in this game less than a year, and I know that this is one of my biggest opportunities in my career. And not only that, I know that I'm a woman. I know that I'm a black woman. I know that I got mouths to feed. I literally have two children, just had one. I would have not have gone on live and crashed out and told all the tea about how Jess felt feeling the odd one out, not only by her peers, but by the supporters of the channel. I wouldn't have done that. You know what I'm saying? I would have taken it to the production, to my publicist, to my agent, to my manager, expressed my needs there several times and made sure I've done all I could do before I hop on IG Live and spill all the beans to where I got to come into work. I don't think she realized she opened Pandora's box, and now she made it even worse for herself because now everybody's chiming in, self included. And now everybody's chiming in on your day-to-day life, on where you clock in on a daily basis. That's not good for your mental health. I'm pretty sure that's not good for your family. That's not going to be good for your children. You know what I'm saying? There were so many times when my mom would come home from a fucked up day at work, and as much as she tried to hide that, it showed in her behavior. It showed in her mannerisms. It showed in just her overall aura. So you just had this baby, and now the whole world is talking about how you should do your job or your lack thereof of doing your job and what should happen at your basic 9 to 5. That's too much pressure. I would have kept it on the playground if I wasn't ready for everybody to play tag in the place. You know what I'm saying? But I understand sometimes you do all you can do. You have done those steps and you're still not feeling heard. And I would never thought I would see the day where I was defending Jess Hilarious. And I'm not. I'm defending a person in her situation. Anybody in the situation I would be defending, not necessarily Jess. But this woman is crying in front of her boss, Charlemagne, right? Charlemagne is the jokester, the buddy, the head honcho, the coolest guy in the playground right now. And the first thing her boss says to her after she's holding back tears, explaining her frustrations, is, "Why didn't you wear your do-rag to work?" Bitch, I would have tore that studio up. Do you hear me? I mean, I would have tore Char every which way but loose. And I would have had to throw the professionalism further out the door. Because I'm like, Judge, you already threw it out the door when you went on that IG Live, girl. You might as well take it there if you're going to take it there. But I think the person who handled the situation way more than I thought they would have was DJ Envy. Now, he was like a fraternal figure in the situation. He acknowledged Jess's frustrations. He acknowledged the fact that this was a real issue. I didn't agree with him saying, like, oh, the internet isn't a real place. Fuck the people who are commenting. Honey, you're a public figure. All of y'all are public figures. In this instance, the internet is very real, and it is signing your paychecks. Because if the viewers stop listening, if the people stop watching, if there's nobody commenting, you're not going to have that strong brand that you guys are known for news. And the check is going to get smaller and smaller until it disappears. So in this instance, you sort of have to listen to what people are saying. You can grow from it. Like, just let this be a moment where you take some journalism classes, go to school, get your communications degree, learn about the who, what, when, why, how, learn how to report on not being biased. And you can still find those trinkets of information where you can be funny and apply the just hilarious that, honestly, I once upon a time fell in love with. And honestly, girls, some apologies would be nice as well, too. You know, you have said some transphobic and queerphobic stuff. And when it comes to Black women and queer people, we are often on the front line to defending Black women. And we would have loved to defend you, because at some point in time, you were hilarious. But the ugly shit you said in the past, you'll never be funny to me in the way that you used to be. And that's unfortunate. And I do want to say Lauren is the biggest victim in the situation, but she's also the most professional in the situation. She ain't no PAB. She spoke about every issue that they've had on a public platform. And she also acknowledged that she's spoken about every issue that they had on a private platform. She did the professional thing to do. That's that preparedness. That's the education that is out swamping the popularity and the clout. And the fact that Lauren was being told to shut up and hush up by Jess shows that, Jess, girl, you're a little bit insecure and you're a little bit jealous of the position that Lauren has gotten from you giving her the position. And you can't do that. You can't be mad at somebody for doing their job well. It's not her fault that she does her job well. There's a niche for both of y'all, if I'm being honest, because like I said, Breakfast Club is a safe space for slapstick Black comedy and gay baiting and queer jokes and woes and Instagram type comedy. There's a need for you there. But there's also a need for the glue, the reporting, the education, the knowledge, the non-bias, the representation that Angela once was, and that void was filled with Lauren LaRosa. So I think if everybody just stayed on the show and if everybody had their own segment, what's the problem with that? We got two niggas on the show. Why can't we get two women on the show? And to women from complete opposite backgrounds, and it shows. And there's representation in that. It will further show that Black folks are not a monolith. Not every homegirl on the street is a just hilarious, and not every homegirl on the street is a Lauren LaRosa. You got homegirls who are a mix of both, and you got homegirls who are on either side. Why can't we see that on Black media's, honestly, second to largest, biggest platform outside of the Shade Room? I would say it's the Shade Room, Breakfast Club, Club Shay Shay right now. Those are the big three for Black media, for Black news outlets on the social media basis and in radio and in TV. Across those bases, those are the big three. And it's unfortunate to see, the Breakfast Club hasn't really been trending like that consistently like they used to. And it's unfortunate to see them trending over Black women getting into it. When honestly, this is a case of misogyny creeping its way into every system as it does, even in Black world, and causing a ruckus. Because like I said, if Jess had a guaranteed spot and Lauren had a guaranteed spot after Jess had the baby, I think shit'd be smooth sailing. But unfortunately, it's not. It's unfortunate. Now, I wish she would tell me shut up and hush up at my job. I'm sorry, I would have to check you then and there. And Lauren seems to have a lot of patience, a lot of class, a lot of demureness to her. And I truly hope that this doesn't jeopardize either of the young ladies' jobs, because I can see the popularity coming back to bite everyone in the ass and just kind of be like, all right, look, it's either me or her. I don't know who they would choose. You know what I'm saying? The smart thing to do is to keep Lauren, because the GP, they love Lauren. But I could see people behind the scenes still picking Jess. And overall, y'all, it's such a first world issue. Like, there are people dying, but I had to talk about it on my channel. This is the Diary of Dupree, where we talk about Black queer topics, and this is a Black queer adjacent topic. Now, I will end this all by saying, to hell with all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Until the Breakfast Club is no longer a safe space for homophobia and transphobia, until y'all stop empowering people who have had homophobic and transphobic rhetoric in most recent history, less than 5 years, I kind of look at the whole platform in a very shady way, and it won't get the support from me. You know what I'm saying? I might tap into a video too, but it will not get a consistent support and consistent follow, consistent view from me. It just won't. You know what I'm saying? Every time they have a queer host or queer guest on their platform, the comments are filled with so much hate. And I truly don't get it, because as a person with the most minute of common sense would know, anytime somebody is coming for somebody of a queer background, a gay background, and they're not Black, best believe they're going to come for Black people eventually. So we are help building the system that is made to downfall us. Participating in homophobia and transphobia only makes the lives of an average Black person sadder and less of a life and more of a place of survival. You know what I'm saying? Because so many Black women are victims of transphobia and they won't even be trans. I mean, we see so many figures like Tiana Taylor, Sierra, Angela Bassett, Tina Turner have all been called men at some point in time. Jess Hilarious has been called a man at some point in time in their life. And it almost looks like the hurting the hurt. And so I think that's why a lot of Black folks partake in homophobia and transphobia, even against their own biological born Black women. And it's sad to see somebody with such natural talent take part in such hateful rhetoric and still get support and love on a daily basis and still have a resume that is for days. Like, I'm not going to front and say that Jess doesn't have a resume, because she does. She was on that TV show. She went from an IG comedian to doing tours, and now she's on the Breakfast Club. But baby, you keep doing these crash outs and being a professional like this, you're going to lose it all. And as we all know, the industry is not kind to anybody Black, but especially a Black woman of a darker skin hue. Look at Aunt Viv in The Fresh Prince. The woman ain't even do nothing, and she was blacklisted. So, I hope that Jess learns from this lesson, takes some classes, goes back to school, comes back, and figures out how to sprinkle in her communications with her comedy. And I hope that Laura maintains her platform as well. And maybe this is a sign that, Angela Lee, girl, you might need to come back as a special guest to their performances. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I have a lot more coming as usual. I've been in kind of a mental funk lately, so excuse me if I seem down, but make sure you look in the mirror and be like, whatever that is that you want to be, you're already that. So if you're that girl, you're that guy. If you're him, you're shim, you're she, you're already that, baby. Don't let nobody tell you man different. Until next time, y'all. Peace.
All right, so y'all just seen that corny ass shit